Okay, enough of my corny jokes. On to our first speaker, the always fun, exciting, fascinating Dr. Michael Woodworth. Located in the Okanagan Valley, Dr. Michael Woodworth is a registered psychologist and tenured professor at the University of British Columbia, who has been providing clinical services to his community since 2004. With a specialization in forensic psychology, he has been called upon to provide expert testimony in the Canadian courts, as well as supporting other legal professionals. Dr. Woodworth is a highly sought-after performance and wellness coach who focuses on maximizing his clients' potentials. We are thrilled to have him talk to us today about wellness and psychology strategies geared towards enhancing sales. Please give a big virtual round of applause for Dr. Woodworth.
Thank you so much, Mustafa, for that really nice welcome. I'm so thrilled to be here today. This is super exciting. I can't believe it. I see there is close to 300 people registered today. Awesome to get together. Mustafa, I will note a couple of things. I also have on pink kind of PJ-ish type shorts. Weird. 2, I want those socks. And 3, when you were talking about going to the grocery store and you said 3 boxes of wood, and you said, I didn't get toilet paper, I got what? I thought you were gonna say wine, not water. But great, what an awesome welcome, and thanks for the invite from Zolo. As always, I'm so happy to come and talk to all of the realtors and everyone that is here today. ZoloCon, and no pressure. I've got to lead off after that talk from Mustafa and those jokes. Oh, can people hear me? Okay, can people hear me? Maybe somebody let me know. Oh, great. Okay, thanks. And you could hear me before too? My introduction? Give me a thumbs up, somebody. Oh, you could hear. Awesome. All right. Well, I'll keep going then. I'm going to switch over to my slides. Sorry, I've got to get a little used to this new tech platform. All right, here we go. So I've already given my greetings. ZoloCon, 300 people. Let's rock this. I want to get everyone leaving here feeling like they are out there to get all of their real estate dreams and succeed. I've prepared a really fun sort of example where we can all sort of go along and make some decisions around what we're going to do each day and have it lead to success. By the way, that's where my, well, I've only been there once, speaking of the pandemic, since last March, but that's UBC Okanagan, where I'm a professor here in the Okanagan. Not bad in terms of location. But yeah, I've been on campus once since the things really turned sideways. So Project Real Well Estates. I want everyone to, heck, we could just look at that picture. That image for the next 40-45 minutes, and that would increase our wellness. I want each of you to think of a current real estate transaction that you have going on, whatever your toughest one is right now, the one that you really want to bag, that you really want to have and be successful on. I want each of you to think of what that is. I'm going to give you some strategies. And by the way, we're going to start with that you've actually been successful. You're starting at 100%. So take a minute. I'm going to go through a couple other slides. I want each of you to think about what that would be. I'm not a real estate agent, so I'm just going to think of something different that I want to succeed, something very difficult. And then the outcome is that I get to buy a piece of property in the Caribbean. And that's my view. The image on that slide is my view for my future. Okay. Wow. The last few months. And at this point, when I say that, we're talking almost a year. You can't help but be put into what we refer to as fight or flight. People are being asked to be hypervigilant. There's uncertainties, a complete change of routines for many people, anxieties. And so one thing right out of the gates is, I've been saying this for a while now, you have to accept your evolutionary self. I came up with this guy, CKO. He's the Chief Kindness Officer. One thing you can be doing is going easier on yourself. It's still great to be totally motivated and want to reach for the stars, but a little bit more self-compassion, and for others as well, of course. It's, you know, different routines, different expectations, a lot of pivoting. And so a lot of kindness, even for yourself, can go a long way. Hopefully, I'm starting to speak as we veer out of these current days. Hopefully, I can give a different talk to everyone in even a few months from now. But for now, just accepting that it's normal and focusing on what you can do rather than what you can't do, I think is a really positive way to go. Couldn't help but put one of my favorite jazz guys on a slide. Every presentation I do now, I pick a different jazz guy. Today is John Coltrane's turn, and actually he has a quote that I think translates well here. You can improve as a real estate agent by improving as a person. Okay, and so today I certainly will talk about some strategies, both in terms of working with your clients and in terms of sales. But I'm also going to talk about some items around self-care and wellness that are arguably as important. And I think it's important to keep in mind, probably about 50% of your happiness and wellness would be considered to be genetic. You got about a 50% playing field about what you can be contributing to your happiness and wellness, and how that directly plays into your ability to succeed at whatever type of work or accomplishment. Luckily for all of you that are out there right now, arguably, even before the pandemic, you were way ahead of the curve. Okay, issues that would be, you know, both the pros, but also a challenge within real estate in terms of time management, level of independence, irregular hours, dealing with some, let's just call them emotionally charged clients and situations. And frankly, at times having to take on more like my occupation as a psychologist. You've been having to work on some of those skills anyway. Of course, now we've had to supersize all of that and bring a whole different level of these type of skill sets. I mean, the interesting thing though about real estate agents and realtors is that you bring you have a special skill, and you bring a combination of skills and talents that can really serve your success well. So I'm going to get into that more today as well. Wow, we're back to this slide, right where we want to be. Hopefully everybody has thought of a current deal or big goal that they want to accomplish. I want to help each of you accomplish that goal, even right here today in the short amount of time we have. Okay, I know the stuff's come off this slide, but here I go. And good news, you start with 100%. So I don't know if you want to get your phones out and maybe, so you've already all won. Congratulations, you're at 100%. Each time, I've got 15 items. Each time you feel like you're rocking it, bringing it, you get to keep your 5%. Each time you feel like, oh, that's something, if I'm being honest, I could probably work on, you drop down 5%. Okay, so hypothetically, you just stay at 100%. Do you need 100% to be totally successful? Of course not. But we're going to start at 100. Any questions? Any comments so far? Maybe somebody just say something so I can know that people can still hear me. We're all good. Nice excuse to stay staring at a screen that says 100. All still good? Awesome. Okay, whoa, right out of the gates. Some of you, maybe it's just me, but you remember that song? You brushed your teeth. Why have I got toothpaste on my first item of 15? Hey, I'm a generous man. I'm going to make it easy. Everybody right out of the gate should keep their 5%. You got to love science. A recent article came out talking about the benefits and making sure you brush your teeth. And no, I'm not kidding. Big study showing for people that got two groups. One group, they brushed their teeth, as you'd hope. Another group did not brush their teeth. They then did a 3-minute dating, sort of speed dating exercise. And then they asked the participants a bunch of questions. The individuals who brushed their teeth, more verbally confident, showed less nonverbal nervousness, and more often were perceived as being, quote, someone similar to me. And of course, that level of connection in real estate is paramount. It's huge. 2 hacks. You might notice the image I've got there. You want to be thinking that you trick your brain hacks, that you're on a nice tropical island. Back to my image. There's some coconut toothpaste that gets the taste of coconut in your mouth. And second hack, of course, you know I love the power poses. After you brush your teeth in the mirror, 10 power poses. Right there, the evidence would suggest you're already on your way to success. Of course, this is an easy one. I'm hoping everybody keeps. So we're all still at 100% at this point. 2, walking. I want you to all think about how much you go for walks. Ideally, they'd be outside. Ideally, they would not be in this field with this individual. This was a New York Times article that came out recently considering the benefits of walking on productivity and health. This guy kind of looks like he escaped from a prison, so not sure about him. However, in general, so much evidence to suggest that even if you're going for, hey, let's put the benchmark at, say, 3 20-minute walks a week, weather permitting, outside, the benefits in terms of your thinking, your ability to think creatively, productively, compared to sitting is huge. Why? I mean, this is an easy one to do, of course, as well. But the theory is that your mind is much more free to innovate. There's something about getting the blood flowing where you are going to be much more innovative and creative than if you're sitting. They did a study where they looked at just everyday objects, one study, buttons, and got people to brainstorm how many different creative novel uses they could have for that item. 4 to 6 additional novel uses for the button for the people that were walking compared to the people that were sitting. And so you take something like that and you equate it to trying to think up some creative, constructive thinking around a deal or how you're going to go back and do another offer. 4 to 6 additional creative ways to think about that can really make a difference. Okay, so here you go now, you gotta rate yourself again. If you feel like you're doing enough walking each week, you keep your 5%. If not, drop yourself down another 5. Hot off the press, I love hot off the press, December 6th. This also comes as no surprise to anyone. But hey, not only am I gonna help you be more successful and with your psychology of selling, I'm gonna help you live longer as well. Just 11 minutes of exercise each day has been found to help you live longer. Okay, and speaking of somewhat strange research, a recent article caught my attention, a sniff of happiness. Where's the rest of that title? Chemicals in sweat may convey positive emotions. Apparently, if you're actually in a positive mindset, and you are getting regular exercise and working out and sweating, others around you will actually pick up on that and feel better as well. Not so sure about that. I think I'd want to see a replication of that study. However, there's no question if you are able to get enough exercise each week, this plays directly, not even indirectly, into your ability to be productive and successful. Again, so much mixed literature out there right now. Let's peg it for all of you. Are you getting 45 minutes of cardio at least 3 times a week? Maybe if you can fit into that keep your 5%. If you feel like you're coming up a few steps short, then drop down 5% again. Okay. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are like, oh, I really enjoy yoga, I love yoga. It has been linked now to something called Divergent Thinking, which is just actually another way of being very creative in ways of thinking of different solutions and novel solutions. So yoga in particular can really be beneficial for you in terms of your mindset. I apologize. I don't know why this GIF didn't work. The blueberries and the musical notes should be moving around. They are not. So I've come up short on that. But next up, are you healthy eating? And are you actually thinking about what you're eating to a degree where, you know, in past talks, pick a different food each time, past talks, I've done avocados as it pertains to dopamine. I've done watermelon in terms of relaxing blood vessels. Today, it's the blueberries' turn. Not only in terms of vitamin C, but antioxidants. Blueberries are absolutely amazing for you. So don't worry, you don't have to keep your 5% or give it up based on the blueberries alone. But overall, do you feel like you're healthy eating? You keep your 5%. If not, got to give it up. And finally, you know, arguably this one should be 10 points. Sleep. Do you feel like you're doing enough to get enough sleep? Just picked 7 of the top ones that I've worked with people on. And of course, something like strategies to calm the mind is something that a wellness and performance coach would help you to be able to do. But here are some of the other main things you can be thinking about to give yourself the best shot of getting a good night's rest. And of course, I know, and especially as real estate agents, it's tough not to be connected to your phone or device at any given moment. But if there's any possible way you can craft it to have what they call a digital detox for 1 hour before you go to sleep, that would be ideal. Okay, so this is our first check-in. We'll do this after we have 10 more items to go. I'm going to go over to the comments box. How many out there still at 100? Let's hear from one of the, anybody still hitting 100%? Oh, wait, maybe I'm, here we go. Okay, I was on the backstage comments. Okay. Is that a yes from somebody that they're still at 100%? Oh, great. Mustafa, I see you love that view. Thank you. Who's at 95% or 90%? Are some people still up there doing pretty good? Okay, I'm going to keep going. Oh, well, here's another comment. Music. Are you incorporating music not only your own life and using enough music, but also could it be a strategy that you use in terms of your occupation? All right, you'll see what I'm getting at in a moment. I'm going to go back over here. Let's hear from a couple of people that are out there. What's your favorite type of music? Favorite type of music? Come on, don't be shy. I'm not seeing any comments. Favorite type of music? Got a shy group today. Well, if you were thinking, and I kind of gave it away with this slide, another study that really caught my attention, 80s pop and heavy metal, best for reducing blood pressure and anxiety, which I love. Of course, I'm biased. I'm a huge music fan. And so this really had me licking my chops. Why might this be? There's all sorts of theories, but it's thought with pop music, all sorts of stuff going on with endorphins and serotonin, increases feelings of happiness and calm. And heavy metal, a bit more of a surprising result. I think that the listeners can maybe help work through some of their angry feelings, and as a result lead to greater well-being. Of course, with a lot of the anxieties and frustrations going on these days, even more so. Out of interest's sake, here you go. Look at this. It's actually remarkable. 80s pop, and they called it It's a Sin soundtrack after a Pet Shop Boys track. It is really effective in decreasing blood pressure. It's remarkable, actually. And by the way, they actually polled people around what they thought was the most empowering 80s songs. Queen, We Will Rock You, Get Ready for This, Too Unlimited, and Into Club, 50 Cent. So, I mean, is this something that you could figure out a creative way where you have some music playing in the background, or you're sort of enlivening the environment with clients? Hopefully you don't put on a Spotify 80s playlist where you're really hoping a client's going to take a house and you maybe got it playing and it's, you know, Twisted Sister, we're not going to take it. But craft your own 80s playlist. So on this one, you know, are you incorporating music enough into your life or not? This one, I hope everybody is getting this 5%. Okay. 7, are you being proactive enough about your space, either at home or if you're still going into some type of office? They're recommending right now, especially with the amount of time people are maybe spending in different types of spaces or in shared spaces, even a couple of green plants in terms of being a very positive color, a color that has been found to lead to increased productivity by about 15%, can make a big difference. When I started looking into this, I went down a rabbit hole. I somehow ended up on a site that was showing different celebrities' houses. I found out that Matthew McConaughey recently bought a beautiful house in Hawaii for a cool $9 million. Was about the average price of a house in Vancouver or Toronto. And then I somehow slipped even further into like the color scheme choices of 50 celebrities. It's remarkable how much time I ended up spending looking at different celebrities' color schemes. So I have to thank all of you for that. I probably wouldn't have found myself down that rabbit hole if it weren't for preparing for this talk. I've said this in the past. There's also this wonderful website. If you're spending a lot of time alone or isolated or looking to have some of the comforts of other people around or activity, there's this great website, Sound of Colleagues. Okay, so 5%, if you feel like you're being clever enough around incorporating things that are going to help your mind in terms of your emotion and productivity, or if that's something you could work on. Speaking of stress, yes, not only you, but the clients you will be dealing with as both home buyers and home sellers, and especially with some of the other current dynamics of the market, you're going to be dealing with some individuals that likely emotions have the potential to be quite high or are quite high right out of the gate. Stress levels are high. Okay, try not to take it personally. Nerves and patience are thin all around still these days. I like to say people are about 30% less fresh. Of course, it's of the utmost importance you come across as calm and confident. So don't take it personally. But then for your 8th item, client, and this is something Mustafa brought up, and we think about something like emotional intelligence and your ability to sort of really be genuine with your clients and your empathy with clients. This is crucial for a real estate agent, in my opinion, as well. This idea of emotional intelligence, or how you're showing your clients that you are putting in that extra effort for them, that you understand their beliefs, that you care about them. This should be 10. This should be 10% of one strategy. I call it Operation Client Communication Double. Ask double the amount of questions. Anything you can do to make them feel like their voice is being heard. This is so important around their family, jobs, hobbies, interests, future ambitions, what their concerns are. If they feel like you really get them, understand them, connect with you, and you come across as calm, understanding, this is absolutely crucial, and more effort put into that, or if you're particularly good at that, you're almost unquestionably destined for success. Okay, something else you can do, and I love Zolo. Zolo is great at putting out all sorts of interesting information and useful information. Often I'll be seeing, oh, that's really great information to know about real estate. I wonder who wrote this, who put this out. It's Zolo. Increase your knowledge, right? Normalize their stress, do things to actually help them reduce their stress. If you can do that as their agent, then you're definitely winning. Stats like this: between 18 to 25-year-olds, 12% less are living on their own. Actually, me getting this stat from Zolo has even incorporated into my clinical practice, where people in this age range that are feeling kind of stressed out or bad, they're having to move back home or not be living on their own. This is a really useful stat to have. If you have this kind of particular specialized knowledge, again, this can be one of the most important things to build up that relationship and ultimately be making that sale. So again, I can't stress enough, every bit of energy and effort you put into this will pay off. Do you keep your 5%? Do you already feel like, yeah, we hear you, Dr. Mike, we're already there? Or do you lose your 5% on this one? Maybe set a high bar on this one, because there's always work to be done on this one. Speaking of which, if there was ever a time where people that are innovative are going to be rewarded, major shifts in what we, as they call the 5 W's: who, what, where, when. This idea of not only buying a house, people now are thinking about buying a community, or thinking about the entire community or the area. Those agents who are willing to really try and be innovative and really think about themselves and their brand, the current environment will disproportionately benefit you. If you're willing to really put yourself out there and be clever and creative and are motivated to innovate, this is your time to shine. Absolutely. So your brand as a real estate agent, what type of clients do you, this is some things you can think about to help you on your way. Do you most enjoy helping, and why? What is unique that you bring to the table? And then what are your own personal passions and interests that you can use as ways to build up connections or create something special? So while you might not know exactly what your brand is, have you put enough time into being both innovative and thinking about your identity as a real estate agent and how that might play into sales? This is another thing that a wellness and performance coach can really help a person work on. By the way, I get inspired. I go on and watch master classes. This is one of my favorite directors, David Lynch. There's all sorts of really inspiring tips on how to be creative and how to be motivated, your passions, at this website of Masterclass. Finally, for this segment, are you doing enough even during the pandemic to try and make more weak ties? Are you building up those connections like Mustafa talked about? And how many per week? Are you figuring out clever ways to do that online? Are you still figuring out clever ways to do that out in the community? And of course, you want to upsize that. Anything you can be thinking of to help contribute back to the community, build up connection, get to know others. Not only could this be good for your business, but hey, a pretty good fringe bonus. Human connection improves the immune system. Getting involved in these type of community and giving improves the immune system. So you're actually making yourself healthier as well. Okay, check-in time. Oh, here we go. Chill hop. Yeah, you know what? I think that's gonna do the trick too. And classical. That's great. Classical, absolutely, Assad. Mozart, Bach. I really like Bach. Whenever I've got to do some heavy lifting mentally, I put on Bach. Well, not whenever, because I put on all sorts of music, but he's definitely someone that I might think of. All right. Hey, Vivaldi. Yes. Very good. Hey, I'm not sure if the comments, because they're just coming now, are sort of delayed, but is anybody still at 100% out there? Do we have anyone that's still batting 100%? They probably made a deal even during the time this talk has gone on, because that would be so amazing. Anybody 85% or above? Oh, stage comments. Oh, I didn't think there's, I apologize, everybody. I was on a vent where the comments were. Thank you, Mustafa. I was like, nobody is talking. Wow. Okay. So there's no way I'll be able to get through all of this, but I see now some people are talking. Spice Girls, Backstreet Boys. This is awesome. 85, 95, 85. Excellent. So we've still got someone. We've still got someone. Well, I don't know if Patrick's still at 95, but that is brilliant. I think that's since I just stopped in 85. Hank at 90. Wow. Perfect. Jam out after ZoloCon. I think everybody should be jamming out all the time. Excellent. Well, I will look at all these comments after, just for the sake of time here. Now, see, yes, stage means stage. That is definitely on me. Hey, hopefully we get to do another one of these, and then we'll be. I know this is not some people's forte, although obviously the quote might kind of pique the interest of some people. For many, many hours, you're in a hyper aroused state, and I don't think many of us associate Zoom with that. And actually, it's kind of refreshing not to be on Zoom at the moment, although it'd be awesome if I could see everybody, of course. I know that a lot of you are not really into some of the tech, but let's face it, in terms of your ability to connect and in terms of having a goal to be increasing how tech savvy you are, it's pretty much, the horse has left the barn, it's crucial. Are you learning things like this recent study that came out from Stanford University about Zoom, that if you are too close to the screen, probably what I'm doing right now, I should probably be back here, but I'm too excited. This is actually putting your brain into nonverbal overload, where you're thinking that there's either some sort of threat coming at you or could be mating possibility as well. It's very easy to get fatigued, not only if you're having to monitor faces that are too close to you in the Zoom, but also from looking at your own face for so much. And that level of self-reflection is exhausting. So are you putting enough time into, and maybe having a goal to learn one or two new things on a tech front that are going to really enhance your game, but are not going to absolutely snow you under in terms of exhaustion or, not understanding the tech. So this is something I think everybody can work on. Some of you probably are like, no, I totally rock that already. Others are like, oh, I'm definitely losing my 5% on this one. But just get out there, do a little bit more research, try and learn a new thing or two around ways to be tech savvy. And it can go a long way these days as well. Okay, next, some basics on focus and confidence. Each night, real basic principles. Are you actually taking the time in terms of your focus to write down some accomplishments and positives? This, by the way, can be helpful as it pertains to that fifth item around sleep. And then each morning, are you writing down 2 to 3 main goals or strategies? And by the way, there's a lot of research that good old-fashioned writing on paper takes it to a whole other level of processing than if you're typing on a computer or texting or writing on your phone. There seems to be something, and a different time we could get into some of the reasons for that. But if you're up for some sort of journal, and of course if it's going to be helpful in terms of your focus, a worry journal where each day for 10 minutes you focus on one of your main worries, and for about 10 minutes really focus, write down, try and reduce some of your anxiety about it. Are you putting enough into your focus and actually acknowledging some of your successes? And of course, that plays directly into confidence as well. Is that something you're doing a good enough job at? Do you keep your 5%, or do you gotta let it go? Directly related to this, of course, is productivity. I'm a huge fan of the Pomodoro technique. Never gets credit. It's Francesco Cirillo. Francesco Cirillo is the creator. Most people think 50 minutes work, then 10 minutes break. I kind of like to go a little bit longer than that, but there is no question that you have to do chunks of very productive work and then take breaks. It's absolutely a situation of quality over quantity. There's got to be breaks. Pareto principle, got all these things. A lot of things starting with P on this slide. 20% of your activities should produce 80% of your results. Now listen, another productivity hack, a huge one, taking those longer breaks and unplugging and actually having some part of your day is going to help you overall be way more productive. However, and I'm going to go back over now to the stage comments. If there's 1 hour of the day that you should not be taking your break, if at all possible, with all reason, and I've done a lot of efforts here to like premium product for you. I think I've honed in on what most research suggests. What's the hour of the day you should not be taking a break and that you should really be trying to bring it? Anybody have some guesses? What hour has science suggested is the hour that's going to really work for you? Anybody? Hank says 9 a.m. Okay, right out of the gates. Boom, 9 a.m. Deep, 11:11. Yes, 11:11 is absolutely, hello, Deep. 11:11 is absolutely the most brilliant minute of the day. But sadly, I might not be the response, or could it? Mustafa says noon. Jane's going with 2. Low Ebb, 10. Amy's with 10. Amy and Parissa's going with 11. Okay. Well, for the sake of time here again, let me get back to my slides. It is the time of the day where you are going to have the most mental acuity, productivity that they found overall, with some variance, of course. And I now stick by this as best possible. It's 10 to 11 a.m. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Apparently, if you really, that 60 minutes, you can be highly productive and effective. Not everyone, but most people, that appeared to be the hour for being really productive. So that doesn't play into your 5% or not, of course, because how would you know? But overall, do you feel like you've got enough things in place around productivity and enough different strategies to make that work? Or do you have to let that 5% go? 14, 2 more to go. Always be honing your negotiation skills. I think one way you can think about this is, are you reading different books, looking up different things online, where maybe one new negotiation strategy per week? I think one that's so old and tried or true now, everybody already knows it. Although I rarely see it, I have to admit, although I guess I wouldn't really be seeing a lot of counter offers in particular. Always use an odd or unusual number when you're negotiating. This, even if the other person knows what you're up to, the brain at an unconscious level is taking in all this information about that you've really clearly thought this through, don't want to be disrespectful. There's all sorts of elements that if you can think up a particularly unique, unusual, or odd number rather than sort of a standard counter offer, you are far more likely to get at the level that you are hoping for. Another one that I've been talking with some agents about is what I call pattern interrupt. And you've got a lot of individuals that you'll be interacting with right now that are heated, that are anxious, the emotions are running high, they're probably not thinking the straightest. And of course, you, calm and confident, you let them go for a period of time, and then you actually ask them if they don't mind waiting while either on your phone or write down some of their main concerns and some of the main things that they would, that you would like to consider from what they're saying. It's a less obvious way of trying to help them defuse, where they feel like you're hearing them, but they're also actually having to take a moment to possibly, and sometimes, of course, it's too difficult, they'll still just keep going, but you'd be surprised how often this pattern interrupt can work as well. So that's a couple right there. You should be thinking about, am I doing enough to be honing my negotiation skills each week? So let's maybe say for your 5%, have you been doing that at least one new negotiation skill and trying it out? Super fun each week. If you are, keep your 5%. If not, bye-bye. And finally, 15, body language. Nonverbal plus tone is roughly 90% for an emotional connection. And of course, all of you are sort of thinking right now, well, yay, the masks. those can't help. How am I conveying this really open, supportive with the mask? Duchenne smile, little crow's nests, little right around your eyes. Even with the mask on, you can process, the brain processes in another person if they're actually genuinely smiling. Even just being able to see that. So if you do a genuine smile, the other person's going to know whether you have a mask on or not. Of course, mask off whenever there's an opportunity. Always be thinking, is there a way I can have this mask off briefly while still following all guidelines is ideal. Before we hear how everyone did, I think everything we just talked about, and from a lot of what I've been looking at, and this idea of people asking, I'm sure you get all the time, why do I need an agent? What are some of the main key reasons? I kind of distilled it down into 4. And of course, some may, to some degree disagree with me, but I really think, look at this. The top 2 are all about your getting to know your client, building up connections with your client, building up that trust. The third one is you having some type of specialized knowledge, getting out there in the community, something to bring to the table. And then the fourth is negotiations. Those are all very unique. And it is quite, as I said earlier, a really special. A real estate agent has to have a very unique and special combination of talents that combine a lot of different disciplines and skill sets. So, and these are very compelling reasons as well. I tried to keep these 4 in mind with those 15 items as well. Oh. He's staring us down. Yes, Jane, humans are the most fascinating creatures. But this little fellow is pretty fascinating as well. He's staring you down. Anyone want to say, what are some of the highest percentages out there after all 15 items? Oh, Anastasia says she can't hear. I'm sorry. Hopefully you can hear me now. What are some of the highest percentages? 85. Wow, Hank. Deep can hear. Great. Hopefully everybody can hear. I shouldn't be fading in and out. 100%? What? Okay. Well, you don't need anywhere near 100% to be really successful out there. And of course, these are all things you can work on. Absolutely, though, if somebody's up there 85, 95, 100, you are doing well. You can do well. Absolutely. So that is amazing. I see in terms of time here, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So there's an email. If you're interested, Zolo is offering, and at no cost, Zolo is offering some performance and wellness coaching that can work on all sorts of the items that I've talked about here, as well as other items. And it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to see everybody, at least conceptually. And I love the idea of ZoloCon. What a brilliant idea, so much fun. And thanks so much for the invite. Up next is going to be a top shelf. Your top shelf leadership team is coming up next. And if I wrote down my chicken scratches correctly here, click the sessions button on the left to attend. And I look forward to hearing about all your successes and everybody getting up to 100%. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day.